ongoing political dispute in the ruling Nepal Communist Party seems to have settled for the time being, as the Standing Committee meeting furnished a power-sharing deal between the chairman duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpakamal Dahal. All now seems well with the ruling party, as the General Convention date too has been endorsed for early April. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the headlines of the hour. Ruling NCP's Standing Committee meeting concludes Premier Oli to concentrate on the government, party affairs to be managed by Executive Chair Dahal. A record single-day spike of 1,454 new cases detected, taking the infection tally to 51,990. Federal capital remains the COVID-19 hotspot with nearly 700 cases. Israel and Gulf nation Bahrain up for a historic deal. Peace talks between Afghan government and Taliban due to begin in Qatar today. And Alexander Zverev defeats Spain's Pablo Carreno Busta in a tense 5-setter to enter into the finals of US Open. Dominic Thiem wins in another semi-final, defeating Daniil Medvedev. More than 1,450 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the past 24 hours, taking the national infection tally to past 51,900. 696 of the infected were from the federal capital, including 620 from Kathmandu district and 38 each from Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. Rupandehi confirmed of 102 cases, Chitwan 74, Kailali 67, Makwanpur 54, Nawalparasi East 38 and Nawalparasi West 35. Likewise, Morang reported 47 cases, Sunsari 44 and Siraha 42. Meanwhile, 972 individuals were discharged from various hospitals and isolation centers after registering full recovery. This takes the national recovery tally to 36,672. Likewise, 6,078 individuals are in quarantine centers, whereas 14,925 individuals with active cases are in various isolation centers. The death toll has reached 322. Chitwan, Sunsari and Morang reported 3 deaths. A 61-year-old male from Rapti municipality receiving treatment at Bharatpur Hospital succumbed to the virus yesterday evening. Another 43-year-old male from Sunsari receiving treatment at BP Koirala Health Sciences Academy in Dharan and a 68-year-old female from Morang receiving treatment at Koshi Hospital, Biratnagar, too died due to COVID-19. Now, the long-standing dispute in the ruling Nepal Communist Party has finally ended with a power-sharing deal between the chairman duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpakamal Dahal. The Standing Committee meeting concluded that the Prime Minister will head the government for the full term of 5 years, while Dahal will lead the ruling party. The Secretariat meeting held at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar endorsed the proposal furnished by the Special Task Force formed to settle the ruling party's dispute. The meeting has also decided to make the functioning of the government more effective and run the government as per the party mandate. The Standing Committee meeting has also endorsed the General Convention date that was earlier scheduled for April next year. Likewise, on the issue of Millennium Challenge Corporation or the MCC, the Standing Committee has said that the controversial project would only be endorsed following some amendments as per the recommendation made by leader Jhalanath Khanal-led Special Committee. Meanwhile, the meeting yesterday thanked the government for its stand on the issue of border encroachment at Lipulek and Limpiadhura, and thereby releasing a new political and administrative map of Nepal. The meeting also urged the government to initiate dialogue with India to resolve the issue of border dispute. The Standing Committee meeting of the ruling party had convened on 24th of June. Amid the heightening dispute, the party was at the verge of a split. The dispute now looks settled with the endorsing of the report prepared by a 6-member Special Task Force committee led by Party General Secretary Bishnu Paudel. 3 individuals of the same family have been found dead in Gakhu of Madhyapur Thimi municipality in Bhaktapur. The deceased have been identified as 36-year-old Sudeep Adhikari, his wife 34-year-old Samjana and their 15-year-old son Sushant Adhikari. They were found dead on the different floors of the house. A pet dog was also found dead at the incident site. The Bhaktapur police range have begun investigation into the incident. A massive malpractice has been revealed in the operation of monasteries, temples, gumbas, among others, located inside Lumbini, the birthplace of Gautam Buddha and a World Heritage Site. A report reveals that the anomaly has thrived due to poor monitoring by Lumbini Development Trust. We have more in this report.
A report by a special committee states that the guidelines formulated by the Lumbini Development Trust were flouted as buildings, dharmashalas, fencing walls and inner structures were haphazardly constructed in Lumbini's World Heritage Site region. Likewise, the guidelines to construct parking space, roads and sewage were openly flouted as illegal structures have been constructed instead. The report has also recommended the demolition of these illegal structures. The committee has already handed a copy of the report to Tourism Minister Yogesh Patrai and Trust Member Secretary Gyanin Rai. A number of countries and organizations that promote Buddhism and Buddhist culture have been granted 40 different plots to construct temples, monasteries and gumbas that depict Buddhist art and tradition inside the World Heritage Site. However, some nations and organizations are found to acquire 2 to 3 plots riding on their access and influence. The ownership of these plots comes at a certain rental charge, but none of these nations and organizations paid the rental amount last year. The report states that just over $21,000 of rental amount needs to be collected. The report has also recommended that the illegal structures need to be demolished while the practice of operating hotels in the name of dharmashala needs to be stopped. A large throng of domestic and international tourists numbering 1.6 million visit Lumbini every year.
Now, the government has put a ban on all forms of get-together, keeping in mind the ongoing pandemic triggered by novel coronavirus. Funeral processions too have been barred from exceeding 25 members. However, people are seen thronging such funeral ceremonies despite the government directive, raising the chances of community spread of coronavirus. We have a report.
There has been an age-old practice in our culture to attend the funeral ceremonies when someone of our close acquaintance dies. However, amid this pandemic, situation is such that people cannot wholeheartedly participate in such funeral ceremonies. Even as the government has put a ceiling of maximum 25 people to participate on such sad occasions, a flock of people are seen attending the funeral ceremonies. Given the scenario, there is a call on the government to introduce other measures rather than simply allocating a certain number to participate in such gatherings. Given that people involved in conducting funeral rites have also reportedly contracted the coronavirus, it is high time that the authority and public at large themselves observe maximum precautions to deal with this crisis.
In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the citizens in Indian and Chinese border territories of Patsthar and Taplejung what are the main problems in the border region and what are the expectations of the local residents from Border Outpost or BOP. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
हुन्थ्यो अहिले अब त्यस्तो नहोस् भन्ने अपेक्षा राखेको छु
जडीबुटीहरू हाम्रो नेपालको वन्य सम्पदाहरूको चाहिँ सुरक्षा हुन्छ भन्ने हामीले आशा राखेका छौँ
योपी सुरक्षा आयो भने हाम्रो नेपालको भूभागहरू तलमाथि हुँदैन कि भन्ने हाम्रो आशा पनि छ
सीमा क्षेत्रमा हुने घटनाहरू हरेक कुरालाई बीओपी क्याम्पले धेरै सहयोग पुर्याउँछ भन्ने अपेक्षा छ
यता इन्डिया जाने मान्छेलाई धेरै सुरक्षित हुन्छ होला
रेडपान्डा डाफे मुनाल जस्ता हाम्रा सम्पत्तिहरू छन् यो सम्पत्तिको जगेर्ना यो एपीएफको टोलीले गर्नेछ
आम समुदायलाई एकदमै सुरक्षित महसुस भएको अब चाहिँ पुनः चाहिँ आम समुदायलाई त्यो चाहिँ महसुस गर्नेछ
सीमा चाहिँ सुरक्षा चाहिँ हुन्छ भन्ने यहाँका स्थानीय जनताहरूले अपेक्षा गरेका छन्
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, what's your take on the haphazard construction of structures against the pilot project at Lumbini, Gautam Buddha's birthplace? Your options are A, careless government, B, result of access, and C, monopoly attitude. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for our special segment, Media Watch.
The three chief district officers of the Kathmandu Valley decided on Wednesday to ease the ongoing prohibitory order in the valley from Thursday, 10th of September. As per the decision, both private and public vehicles have been allowed to operate in the valley based on the odd and even number system. Taxis have also been allowed to operate, carrying a maximum of 3 passengers. Public buses with at least 16-seat capacity have also been allowed to operate at half their capacity. Likewise, entrepreneurs have also been allowed to resume their businesses by following precautionary health measures. Outlets selling essential items have been allowed to open until 11 in the morning and from 5 to 7 in the evening. The local administration offices of the valley have informed that the ongoing prohibitory order has been extended until 16th of September. Meanwhile, educational institutions, recreational centers, beauty parlors and sports facilities have been asked to remain closed until further notice. The government on Sunday decided to blacklist Shailung Enterprises and Hanika Multiple Company for failing to supply fertilizers despite massive demand in the market. The Agriculture Ministry also cancelled the contracts with the 2 companies that failed to procure chemical fertilizers worth 2 billion rupees. The ministry decided to recommend the Public Monitoring Office to blacklist these companies as part of the action taken against them. According to the Agriculture Ministry, the government will seize the deposited amount of 50 million rupees each from both the companies and make them compensate. Spokesman for the Agriculture Ministry, Haribadur Kesi, informed that the ministry has forwarded the legal procedures to compensate for the loss incurred by failing to procure chemical fertilizers. The government had contracted to procure 50,000 tons of chemical fertilizers with the 2 companies in January and February this year. As per the contract, both the companies had to procure fertilizers by 5th of August. This is Abhyuday Shrestha for Media Watch and Kantipur News Desk.
That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.